coming out of hyper casual, moving into, what I'm going to try to call the rebound, which is really just rebounding back to casual games with enough depth to sustain, beyond day one, day three, day seven. How has and feel free to treat this as an opportunity to shamelessly plug ByteBrew, but how has your perspective on user engagement changed, right? And your relationship with your players changed, and what are you doing to measure that, Ayaz?
Yeah, so like I told you, we have been working with publishers from the start, right? So you know how working with publishers is, it's all about numbers. What's the retention? What's the engagement time and stuff like that, right? So these are the major KPIs. So from the very start, we made a practice of making sure that our products, our prototypes, sorry, our games, they are loved by user, or at least they are engaging, right?
Mm,
So this is a main factor, a core factor. And sadly, our many studios are in Pakistan, they have been working on producing content and not games.
mm,
That's how it's
mm,
been for over a decade. But the good thing is it's changing now, right?
mm-hmm.
So all major players and they're trying to make good games now, which are enjoyable, and people would love to give them a try at least, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why you'll see a big shift from people jumping from simulators and the ASO games towards hyper casuals and hybrid casuals and in-depth simulators like supermarket
Mm-hmm.
and also
Mm-hmm.
puzzle. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a change which I'm seeing, and I feel that this is a good direction for Pakistan to take at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Junaid, how about you? How do you see, I mean, coming into the tail end of hyper casual where, of course, it's still data driven, right? So obviously retention numbers have to be hit. Those numbers have gone up. But I feel like the depth of understanding you need about your players is what produces that increase in retention that you need to be able to scale your game through UA and things like that. So can you speak to that? Like what are you doing
Yeah.
internally to better understand your users?
Yes, yes, yes.
Sorry,
So
players. I hate saying the word users. I feel like that's the wrong tone. Your
yeah,
players.
Yeah.
yeah. So when it comes to like making like more in-depth or more like engaging or more high long-term retention games, data has to be core of everything. So we need to be following like all the data points, with the basic KPIs being the retention, playtime, and the session lengths and everything, and then understanding the long-term user journeys and then the conversions of your in-apps and everything. And here comes your tools, what tools that you use to like measure the data. Then a lot of like live ops have to be done through this data with planning a lot of the events and then the A/B tests that are needed. So since the start of I think 2023, we have been using like ByteBrew. We have used like other analytical partners too, but what stood like very like unique from every other like data platform was you guys giving us the like the top quality like sport
Huh, thank
as
you.
like Chris and like Lana from the ByteBrew team, like always being there and giving us even making up like charts and even going in depth with the data with our games and telling us like what to focus on, what not to. So this has been great. And right now, as we scale like my supermarket simulator, we continue to invest in data driven like approaches more. We have started like making up like a data analytics team at Game District to go in depth with the user journeys and with the user behaviors that you need to know if you're about to like create like long lasting games that uh, drive engagement for years and years. So
Yeah.
we are investing a lot of like stuff in the data analytics. Also, I remember like the shift has started with the UA channels first. So in the last year or so, a lot of like companies have invested in MMPs, like those
Mm-hmm.
attribution platforms.
Mm-hmm.
So Chris, So and also our like other like participants know too, we weren't like very good with the marketing and the UA. The Pakistani industry wasn't very good with self UA. So that this
Mm,
is why I like, relied a lot on the ASO and these publishers. But ever since last 2 years, there
mm,
has been a lot of shifts from the ASO and the publishers to
mm,
UA. Started with data by enabling like
mm,
attribution, having partnered up with like attributions. And now I see like Pakistanis are starting to master the UA end. So
mm,
they are going to a lot of like different networks. They have like MMPs to help them
mm,
analyze and improve their UA. I see like the next shift is going to be back to like the product end, because
mm.
you market what the product is and you need to
Yeah,
improve it, the data. So it's kind of like
yeah, that's
all
super
over the
interesting
place in
actually.
Pakistan. Yeah.
And there's a resilience there that I really appreciate in the Pakistani market because you mentioned this like shift to UA. I really feel like that was by necessity, right? If we think about the things that ended the era of store discoverability, it was really like, iOS 10. Like nobody here remembers how bad that was. I mean, as you probably do, right? But remember when
Yeah.
features used to matter and then just all
Yeah.
of a sudden they didn't, right? And then
Uh,
shortly thereafter, Google changed their algorithms that hurt organic discoverability. Obviously, with ATT, that changed Apple. And with that, Google, clearly changed things on their side because they no longer needed to necessarily provide a lot of organic discoverability if all test budgets were going in there. So, it has been a huge shakeup, but that's, I think, one of the most amazing things about Pakistan and really the region as a whole is just that resilience and that hunger, right? I mean,